Have you ever felt like you're just constantly reacting? Pushed and pulled by everything happening around you?
Oh, definitely. Information overload, right? The news, work, life. It can feel relentless.
Exactly. It leaves you feeling stressed, maybe anxious. It feels like such a modern thing. But what if I told you there's this, ancient philosophy that tackles exactly this?
From nearly 2,000 years ago.
Yeah. Today, we're doing a deep dive into Epictetus. He was a major Stoic philosopher.
A fascinating figure.
And our mission here, really, is to pull out the most useful bits, the practical tools from his teachings, to help you build resilience, maybe cut down on that anxiety, and find a bit more inner peace day to day.
That sounds like a great goal. And yeah, this deep dive should really get you up to speed on his core ideas. It's amazing when you think about where he came from.
Right. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, he was born a slave around 55 AD in Phrygia, which is modern-day Turkey.
Born a slave. Wow.
Yeah. And he rose from that to become one of the most influential Stoic thinkers. You can imagine how those early experiences really shaped his whole view on freedom, on inner strength.
It must have. So he wasn't born into philosophy, he lived it.
Absolutely. After he gained his freedom, he actually set up his own school in Nicopolis. And his main works, the Discourses and the Enchiridion, which means handbook, they're still incredibly powerful today, still inspiring people.
So a former slave teaching about inner freedom, it's quite a story. What were the core ideas? What's at the heart of Stoicism as he taught it?
Okay, so at its core, Stoicism, particularly Epictetus's version, kind of rests on three pillars: virtue, wisdom, and self-control.
Virtue, wisdom, self-control.
For Stoics, virtue isn't just, being good. It's the highest good. It includes things like courage, justice, temperance, moderation. Wisdom is about understanding the world rationally, seeing things clearly, making sound judgments.
And self-control, that sounds crucial.
It really is. It's about managing your desires, your emotions thoughtfully.
Yeah.
So you can choose how you respond instead of just lashing out or getting swept away.
Okay. Choosing your response. That sounds powerful, but also difficult. How do you even figure out what you can actually control? Life throws so much at us.
That's where Epictetus gives us perhaps his most famous and I think most practical teaching. It's called the dichotomy of control.
The dichotomy of control.
Right. He basically said you have to constantly distinguish between what's truly in your power and what isn't.
Okay, so what is in our power, according to him?
Our thoughts, our judgments about things, our intentions, our actions, our reactions, basically our inner world and how we choose to act.
And what's not in our control?
Well, pretty much everything else. External events, the weather, the economy, what other people do or say, their opinions of us, even our own health to a large extent, or the final outcome of our best efforts.
That's a lot that's outside our control.
It is, and that's the point. He argues that if you focus your energy, your worry, your efforts on trying to control those external things,
You're setting yourself up for frustration.
Yeah.
And anxiety.
Exactly. Because you can't ultimately control them. But if you shift your focus entirely onto what you can control, your responses, your attitude, your choices,
Then you find your stability there.
that's where true freedom lies, according to Epictetus. You significantly reduce anxiety because you're not tying your peace of mind to unpredictable outcomes.
Let me see if I get this with an example. Say, a job interview.
Okay.
I can control how much I prepare, right? Research the company, practice my answers, dress well.
All within your control. Your effort, your actions.
But I can't control whether they actually offer me the job. The interviewer might be having a bad day, or maybe someone else is just a better fit.
Precisely. And the anxiety often comes from desperately wanting to control that final decision.
Which I can't.
Right. So Epictetus would say, put all your energy into preparing excellently. Act with integrity during the interview, that's your part. And then accept the outcome, whatever it is, without letting it destroy your inner peace. Because the outcome was never truly yours to determine.
That's a radical shift. It's not about not caring.
No, not at all. It's about caring effectively.
Yeah.
Caring about your own actions and character, which are yours, rather than external results, which aren't. Handing over your happiness to things outside your control means you're basically a puppet to circumstance.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So if we apply this dichotomy, this control idea, how does it help when things go wrong? Like with setbacks or even outright failure? Does that same principle work there?
It absolutely does. And it's incredibly powerful for building resilience. Stoicism looks at failure not as, the end of the world, but as data. as a learning opportunity.
A learning opportunity.
Remember Epictetus' famous line, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So failure happens. That's an external event, in a sense, your reaction to it. That's internal. That's yours.
So you don't judge the failure itself as bad.
The Stoic ideal is not to. The event isn't inherently good or bad. It just is. It's our judgment, oh, this is terrible, I'm a failure, that causes the suffering.
Okay.
So instead of spiraling, you analyze. What was within my control that I could have done differently? What lesson is here? How can I use this experience to grow stronger or wiser?
And turn it into fuel for improvement.
Exactly. You're not just passively learning, you're actively practicing mastering your inner state. You're shifting from being a victim of what happened to being the architect of your response. It transforms setbacks into chances to practice virtue, like courage or persistence.
That's a really powerful reframing. And it leads straight into another key idea, doesn't it? The importance of perspective. Because if our reaction is what matters, then how we see things is everything.
Absolutely critical. The Stoics were very clear. Events themselves don't disturb us. Our judgment about those events is what causes the upset.
So how do we manage that perception? How do we cultivate a more stoic perspective when things feel tough?
There are techniques. One is consciously reframing thoughts. So when you have a negative interpretation pop up, this is a disaster, you challenge it. You ask, is that really true? Is there another way to look at this?
Like looking for the opportunity in the difficulty.
Yes, viewing adversity as a chance to practice virtue, as we just discussed. Another powerful technique is called cognitive distancing.
Cognitive distancing, what's that?
It's about learning to sort of step back and observe your thoughts and feelings about something rather than being completely caught up in them.
Like watching them on a screen instead of being in the movie.
That's a great analogy. You acknowledge the thought, there's the thought that this is terrible, but you don't automatically fuse with it or believe it unconditionally. It creates a little space.
Space to choose a more rational response.
Precisely. And alongside these, things like practicing gratitude, consciously focusing on what's good, even small things and mindfulness can really help ground you and shift your overall perspective towards appreciation rather than complaint.
It sounds like it's about aligning yourself with reality, with rationality.
You've hit on another core Stoic concept, living in accordance with nature.
Okay, now what does that mean? Does it mean I need to go camping more?
Well, maybe, but that's not quite the philosophical meaning. It's less about literal woods and trees and more about aligning your actions with the rational order of the universe.
Okay.
And perhaps more practically with your own nature as a rational and social being. Understanding your place in the cosmos, if you like, and acting in harmony with reason and virtue.
So it's about acting consistently with our highest capacities. Reason, community.
Exactly. Cultivating those core virtues we talked about, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance in your daily choices, because that is our highest nature, according to the Stoics.
And the benefit of doing that?
Inner peace, less internal conflict. Because you're living authentically, in line with your values and your rational understanding of the world, it brings a clearer sense of purpose. It encourages you to ask, are my choices actually aligned with what I believe is right and rational, or am I kind of fighting against my own better judgment?
That makes sense. Living in accordance with your values reduces that inner friction. Now, you mentioned our nature as social beings. I sometimes think of Stoics as being very self-reliant, maybe even a bit solitary.
Yeah.
Is there a place for community and relationships in this philosophy?
That's a really common misconception, actually. Stoicism definitely champions self-reliance, yes, that inner strength, but it absolutely does not advocate for isolation.
Oh, okay. To know.
It heavily emphasizes our interconnectedness. Thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, another famous Stoic, wrote extensively about our duty to others, about compassion, about working for the common good.
So social responsibility is part of it?
A big part. We're seen as parts of a larger whole, the human community, or even the cosmos. Our well-being is tied up with the well-being of others. We're rational, yes, but also inherently social creatures.
So it's about finding a balance between that inner resilience and contributing to the community.
Exactly. Balancing self-reliance with interdependence, fostering good relationships, offering support, practicing empathy. These aren't distractions from Stoicism. They're actually expressions of Stoic virtue, particularly justice and benevolence. It leads to a richer, more harmonious life, not just for you, but for your community too.
This has been, wow, incredibly clarifying. We've covered some big ideas to the dichotomy of control, perspective, nature, community. But for someone listening now thinking, okay, this sounds great, but how do I actually do this stuff? How do I start? What are some practical first steps?
That's the crucial question, right? How to put it into practice. Well, one simple thing is daily reflection. Maybe keep a journal.
What kind of prompts?
You could ask yourself things like, what happened today that was outside my control? How did I react? Or what is within my control right now? Or even, where did I have a chance to practice a virtue today, like patience or courage? And did I take it?
Just bringing that awareness to your day.
Exactly. It builds that muscle of self-awareness and intentionality. Another thing is mindfulness practices, even just short ones.
Like deep breathing.
Meditation.
Yeah, simple deep breathing exercises when you feel stressed.
Yeah.
Or taking 5 minutes for quiet meditation. These help you stay grounded, create that space between stimulus and response that we talked about.
Makes sense. Any reading you'd recommend for digging deeper?
Absolutely. You can go straight to the source. Epictetus's Enchiridion, the handbook, is short, sharp, and incredibly practical.
Okay.
And Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is another classic. It's his personal journal, basically.
Yeah.
Wrestling with these ideas. Very relatable. Plus, there are tons of great modern books, websites, and online communities dedicated to Stoicism now. Lots of support out there. That's great. So practical steps are available, this whole conversation. It really highlights how, these aren't just abstract ideas from 2,000 years ago. They feel incredibly relevant, especially now with all the chaos and information flying at us.
They really do.
It seems like the core message, what it all boils down to, is this. If you can really grasp that dichotomy of control, learn to reframe how you see challenges, and try to align your actions with your values and your role in the community, you can genuinely build this deep kind of unshakable resilience, real emotional stability.
You've nailed it. That's the promise. Applying these principles day by day, even imperfectly, offers a clear path towards, greater fulfillment and that inner peace we're all looking for. They give you real sturdy tools to handle whatever life throws your way with a bit more grace.
Building that inner fortress, as you said.
Exactly.
So maybe something for everyone listening to think about. If it's true that only your thoughts and actions are really, truly within your control, how might just one intentional choice you make today, guided by some of this Stoic wisdom, start to change how you experience everything tomorrow?